not for everybody, only for those who deserve amongst them. Last time we talked about when we learned together what happened up to the fire, when they throw him into the fire. He came out from the fire in front of everybody. Supposedly everybody would do what? Logically, what should they do? They just saw somebody that they had an argument with and they were disagreeing about, you are right, we are right. He tried to use the logic with them. He said, because he shattered, he destroyed their gods, so-called gods, the idols. And he tried to use every way possible with them. He said, maybe you can go and ask them. Still they are not convinced. Allah showed them this miracle afterwards, that he came after, according to the various narrations, several days. Several days he came out of the fire walking. They could even see him sitting and relaxing and enjoying his time inside the fire. Miracle. That's not him now. It's clear. It's not him. It's not an idol. It's what he is calling for. It's what he is saying. He said, I have a God, and this God is such and such. So that God should be the true God. They did not accept his God. Even at this point, subhanAllah. Yani guidance, lesson number one. Guidance is not because you are very smart. It's not because it is mainly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those who deserve it. If people do not deserve it, even if they see it with their eyes, they would not take it. They see Sayyidina Ibrahim getting to the fire and back from the fire, out from the fire safe. They wouldn't take it. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Guess what happened right after that? The king of that time, not only the king, the mayor of the town, that was a Namrud or a Namrud, the king of his time, Malak al-Arda jami'an. He was a king over the entire earth. قالوا ملك الدنيا أربعة. 4 kings, they had kingdom over the entire earth at their times. 2 of them are believers, 2 of them are disbelievers. The 2 who are believers, give it a guess, who were the kings who ruled and reigned over the entire earth and were believers. One of them is, let's give a chance to the girls. Give it a guess. We have 4 kings, and probably definitely queens also, right? Who got to reign over the entire earth. Guess, give it a guess. One of them is a prophet, and he is good, definitely. Sayyidina is starting with S. Can you guess? Alright, yes. Sirin. Suhaib, you said? You're getting close. He's not a prophet. He is S-O. Yes, go ahead. Give it a guess, sister. Sayyidina Sulaiman of Solomon. So Sayyidina Sulaiman is one of the 4 kings. He was good, who ruled over the entire earth of his time. Number 2 of the believers, brothers, Dhul Qarnayn, the one mentioned in Surah Al-Kahf. And he left Sharqan wa Gharban, east and west, helping those who are in need for help, subhanAllah. Free. They even offered him money. He said, no, doing it for the sake of Allah. When authority, when somebody got the power and he uses it for the sake of Allah, amazing. Think of somebody like Umar radiallahu anhu. Think of Dhul Qarnayn, you live at his time and you have a hardship and he's not even your king. He's not the president of your country, but he comes out of his way with his army, with his people. Not only an army of military people, he got builders and construction people, and he just helps everybody who needs help. So Sulaiman alayhi salam and Dhul Qarnayn alayhi salam, and who else? The 2 people who were bad, they ruled over the entire earth of their time. One of them was this guy we're talking about, the Namrud, and the other one was it's not clear. Some people said it was an Iskandar, but he's Bukhtunassar. This is his name of his time, and he was not or Bukhtunassar, I'm not sure. He got a kind of big name in the Bible that's close to Bukhtunassar. Anyways, the Namrud, he came. This guy's, we did not start yet, I'm sorry, we did not start this. We cannot, sisters, we're going to start in the break, inshallah. So, kids and everybody will have the chance to take, inshallah, the snacks. So, this king came, and he had this munadhara or debate with Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam when he came to know about him, according to some narrations. So he said, well, what about your Lord? أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِي حَاجَّ إِبْرَاهِيمَ فِي رَبِّهِ. He started, who is your Lord? Let's have a talk now. Looks like you have some miracles, some strange stuff. You get to the fire, and out of the fire, let's have a talk. Who is your Lord? And he said, my Lord is the Lord who, Rabbi alladhi yuhyi wa yumit. Ibrahim alayhi salam is speaking. My Lord is the one who gives life. He gives life and takes life. That's my Lord. What did he say, this man, this king? He said, I can give life and take life. He brought two people and he said, go, kill that, and you go, you are free. He said, now you see, I can give life and take life. That's not munadhara, that's not in reality, because he did not give this person life. This person was already alive. And he did not take the soul of that person because, if Allah doesn't want it to happen, it will not happen. But anyway, Sayyidina Ibrahim didn't want to get there. That would help us when we get to arguments. We do not win. We do not want to digress. We just need to be focused on the point. So he chose a bigger one that he cannot go anywhere. He said, قال فإن الله يأتي بالشمس. Honda, what color? So he said, إن الله يأتي بالشمس من المشرق. Allah Azza wa Jal, my Lord, is the one who gets the sun from the east. فأتي بها من المغرب. So can you bring it from the west? What did he say? Nothing. فبهت الذي كفر. That was it. And he still did not accept Islam, and then the story ends there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just want to give us a hint that Iman and faith is in the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask for it and be humble and surrender yourself and submit yourself to Allah so He can get it, He can give it to you, and He would never prevent it from people who deserve it and are asking for it. May Allah give us Iman and Hidayah. Allahumma ameen. So Ibrahim alayhi salam was originally from where? The country that's known nowadays? Nino. Sayyidina Ibrahim. Turkey? Iraq, yeah, Brother Muhammad, you have to talk. He was from Iraq. That's originally where he was from. After all of that, he thought that I'm not going to be able to continue in here, so he had to migrate. وَقَالَ إِنِّي مُهَاجِرٌ إِلَىٰ رَبِّي. He said, now I have to make hijrah, migrate, move somewhere else for the sake of my Lord. Sayyidina Lut alayhi salam, we mentioned this last time. How was he related to Sayyidina Ibrahim, Prophet Lut? Ibrahim alayhi salam and Lut, they were relatives somehow. Who was the uncle? Ibrahim alayhi salam. And his nephew was Sayyidina Lut alayhi salam. He got Sayyidina Lut, his nephew, and his wife was Sayyida Sarah, or Sarah, this is her name, and they moved on. They moved on to Palestine, Sham. Sham at this time is not Syria nowadays. The Sham is Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine, most importantly, is Palestine, this area, they call it the Levant. So he moved to Sham, and then he stayed there for a little bit until there was drought and famine, ju' or khawf. He had to move to Egypt, the land of abundance. Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, it happened another time at the time of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, where all the neighboring countries or regions, they had to go to Egypt for the same purpose. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam ended up doing it. He took Sayyida Sarah and Sayyidina Lut, moved to Egypt, and one of the pharaohs was, according to the hadith, Al-Jababira, one of the tyrants. He was ruling over it at this time, and he tried, because of Sayyida Sarah alayhi salam, she was, according to one narrations, nobody from the time of Hawa, Eve alayhi salam, up until Sarah was more beautiful than Sayyida Sarah. So she was the most beautiful lady from the beginning of the time up to her time, from Hawa up to her time. So knowing that, this tyrant tried to take her somehow, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ended up saving her and rescuing her. Every time he tries to approach her, he was locked, literally locked. He froze, he was not able to move. Once, twice, and then he had to push her away, and he said, you did not send a human being. That's not a human being. There is something crazy going on in here. But he ended up, after a lot of dua from Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, and a lot of dua from Sayyidina Sarah alayhi salam, he released her, and he even honored her. He gave her Sayyida Hajar as a gift. This is a servant for you. Hajar alayhi salam, later on, we all know who Hajar is. She would be the mother of all the Arabs. All the Arabs will be from Hajar alayhi salam, which also was an Egyptian. Some people try to tell the Egyptians, you are not Arabs. So one of them argues, he said, your mother is from our country, we are the source. of Arabs in a sense. So Sayyidina Hajar alayhi salam and Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam afterwards, they were honored. Somehow, this king gave them a lot of money and a lot of properties and everything, and they had to leave. In their way back to Al-Ard al-Muqaddasa, the sacred land, which is Palestine and Syria and the Sham area, this is where they head back to stay. Him and Sayyidina Lut alayhi salam. But Sayyidina Lut alayhi salam decided to stay somewhere in the area of Sadum, which is somewhere also in the Sham. And Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam moved on to Bayt al-Maqdis, closer to the Bayt al-Maqdis. Later on, he established himself there and everything, and he was there. Sayyidina Lut faced some issues and troubles. People attacked him and took his money, and they were about to kill him, until Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam got a small army, and he came and he rescued him and everything, and actually he left him in there. But he had to fight those people all the way to Damascus, or Damascus nowadays. And there's an area there in Damascus called Maqam Ibrahim. It's actually where the army of Sayyidina Ibrahim stopped, reached all the way up to there. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam lived in Palestine, al-Ard al-Muqaddasa, al-Ard allati barakna fiha al-alamin, the land, Allah said, it is the land that we put a lot of blessings for all the alamin, the worlds, it's in there. 20 years later, it was Sarah alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam got to the age of past 80, it was around 86, no children, and Sarah was barren. She did not كانت عاقر لا تلد, and she said, well, I give you the permission now, or I give you a gift, my servant Hajar alayhi salam, Hajar, you can get married to her, and maybe you can get the children, because I can't give you that. So that already happened. دخل بها سيدنا Ibrahim, he consummated the marriage, and she got pregnant, and later on from her, from a Sayyida Hajar will come Sayyidina Ismail, Prophet Ismail alayhi salam. What happened is Sayyida Sarah, as we all know, she got jealous somehow, and they ended up, Sayyida Hajar alayhi salam, she has to leave. Ibrahim, it was an order of Allah, we all know. It is a plan, Allah has a plan somehow, that this lady with her infant, young boy, they have to move to what's now called Mecca. So they moved all the way. I'm not going to go into all the details. We all know what happened when the baby was, they ran out of food and water. After Ibrahim alayhi salam left them, and she said, why are you leaving here? He left. They ran out of food, they ran out of water. She had to go between As-Safa and Marwa looking for somebody to help, looking for water, until she saw the water gushing out with one of the angels came, and as the baby was crying, imagine, in the middle of the desert, a lot of lessons that we learn from there, a lot of lessons. We learn patience, we learn tawakkul ala Allah, putting trust in Allah, submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She said, إِذَنْ لَنْ يُضَيِّعْنَا. If you leave us, he said, why are you leaving us here? Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who give you the order? He said, yes. She said, إِذَنْ لَا يُضَيِّعْنَا. He will not leave us alone. If it is in the hands of Allah, the order of Allah, the command of Allah, we will take it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never leave us alone. Allah will cause the water of Zamzam, the well of Zamzam, to gush out under the feet of Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam. A caravan that's passing by Jurhum, they will see a bird, some birds, they will know there is water. They came, and out of akhlaq of the people, the manners of people at this time, they asked permission. A woman in the middle of the desert, they need water. Without water, they will, suffer. But they have to ask permission. They said, do you give us permission to, take from the water? She said, yes. Do you give us permission to camp close by? She gave them permission. And actually Ismail alayhi salam will grow up with them and will learn Arabic, the pure Arabic from them, and he will be one of them. And they will, later on, he will get married from them, and he will be the prophet. As Allah said in the Quran, actually in the Bible too, from him a big nation will come. From Sayyidina Ismail, a big nation will come. That's even in the New Testament too. So this is the only new nation, the only nation that came from Sayyidina Ismail is the Arab, and the Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his followers. That is the big nation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Later on, what happened is Sayyida Sarah, she got pregnant too. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also gave him the وَبَشَّرْنَاهُ بِإِسْحَاقٍ. Allah gave him a glad tiding of Ishaq. So he waited for so many years and he made dua. Allah did not give him only one. No, He gave him another one from Sarah too. And he will be a prophet to Sayyidina Ishaq. And Ishaq from him will come Yaqub and then Yusuf. All are prophets. One of them went to, the Arabia and they together built the house of Allah, Al-Kaaba. We continue with this story with all the details later on. But I don't want to take long time. But let's take some lessons together. What do we learn from those incidents that happened at this time from Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, from Sayyidina Hajar, from Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam, that could be relevant to our time nowadays?
Never lose the hope.
Naam?
Never lose the hope.
Never lose hope. That's perfect. That's at your personal life. Sometimes we go through ups and downs. Never lose hope. Put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you'll ضيعنا. And actually the angel, one of the narration, as the water came out, the angel spoke to her, to Hajar. He said, this baby and his father will build the house of Allah. The house of Allah is in here, and this baby and his father will build it. And you are the people of Allah. لا تخشوا الضيعة. Allah will never waste you. Allah will never leave you alone. So if you are true believers and we have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let's work with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and He will take care of us. Very beautiful lesson. Anything else? What do we learn from Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam? Ismail alayhi salam, you can say alayhi salam not only to prophets, by the way. Ismail alayhi salam just came on, not the prophet. But inshallah, righteous Ismail.
They moved a lot. They didn't just stay in one place. Even back then it was such a long distance. I don't know how they did it, but they didn't stay in one place.
I didn't think of that lesson, but amazing lesson. He did not just get stagnant in one place. I'm from Iraq. I'm from